Hi, my name is Mark Galley, and this is a summary of a presentation I gave at the annual SMRP conference in Cleveland, Ohio. The title of the presentation is Improve Work Process, Improve Results. Now, the definition of a process is a series of steps to produce an end, and a work process is just all the steps required to get the work done, just the way the work is done. There are work processes in every organization. Every task within a company is part of some work process. When you don't get the result from your process, that's when you even have a problem. So any problem, upstream of any problem, is some work process or work processes that didn't go well. Once there is a problem, you have to contain it, and then you do an investigation where you define the issue and identify the causes and come up with solutions. Those solutions from the investigation are always implemented upstream of the problem, meaning the output of every investigation, the solutions that you implement, are always implemented in the work processes that are upstream of the problem. So from a reliability standpoint, you definitely want to be good at investigating problems, but the real leverage is improving the processes to prevent the problems from ever occurring in the first place. And that's why recurring problems are such ideal candidates to jump into, because there's very good evidence, obviously, that we haven't solved the problem. It keeps coming back. The processes in an organization that are ineffective are what really cause the problems. Your ineffective processes cause your problems. Instead of referring to things as management failure or management systems or the worker screwed up, one of the reasons we like work process is it pulls in this classic context of management and labor and helps minimize that division and just says it's always about meeting the goals and understanding the work processes, and that way includes management and labor each time. Work process is very closely connected and fits very well with this idea of a procedure is just a written explanation of the process, and a checklist is a summary of the process. And when you train people, you teach them the process, and supervision is about ensuring that the process is performed as it's supposed to. A process map is just a visual representation of the steps within a process. So people don't carry process maps around. They use procedures and checklists, but the process map is just an easy way to capture the details of a work process when you're discussing something that did or didn't go well. Every work process can be viewed at a basic level. It can be broken out at an intermediate level with more detail, and any one of those steps can be even broken out at a more detailed level. So every work process can be viewed at different levels. You're basically zooming in and zooming out, and the people that do the work always work at the most detailed level. If you're even doing something like tightening a flange, you can call it the tightening a flange process, but there are very specific steps that very knowledgeable people, the people closest to the work, would be able to detail for us. So every process can be viewed at multiple levels. The reason I mention that is we see companies stopping at these 5 favorites all the time in investigations. Procedure not followed, you have to dig into that by dissecting the work process for whatever procedure was not followed. If training is not adequate, you can't just stop there. You have to understand what specifically in the training process was ineffective. It's the same way for human error issues or equipment failure issues or design issues. You have to dig into the work processes that created those issues in the first place, because that's really where the solutions are. This idea of following the procedure process is a term we've heard some companies use. It's not just about following the procedure and doing what you're told. It's not an issue of just being a doer and not a thinker. We've heard terms like malicious compliance and vicious verbatim when people do exactly what they're told or exactly what's written in the procedure, even though they know it's going to create a problem. It's because they've been told to do just what was written, and they do, and it creates an issue. The idea is we want people thinking. The reason you'd follow the procedure process is we're really telling people we need you thinking about this particular task. If there's a way to make it clearer or simpler, we want to understand that. It doesn't mean you can go off on your own, but if something's not clear, we need to stop the job and get clarification and check with managers or supervisors or a coworker to make sure, is this actually how this is supposed to go? There might be a better way that we want to incorporate into the procedure that the people closest to the work can tell us. So this theme of, is there a better way to do it, is in this book, It's Your Ship, by D. Michael Abrashoff. It's about the USS Benfold in the Navy, and one of the messages in there is even within very high compliance work processes, there's still a lot of room for creativity to meet to be compliant and meet the objective. So a lot of room for creative solutions within any work process within a company. The tenure people within an organization have what we call experience. They understand all the details that go in a particular task. The 10-day people just don't have the same experience. And what we've observed is the tenure people, we say they've got a lot of experience, and the 10-day people are inexperienced. They might actually be holding the same job procedure for the same job, but the way they do it is different. The experienced people have different work processes. They are really doing things differently. And if we know that this goes on, then we should just capture how the job should actually be done and provide that information in the training programs and the procedures for the new people or for the inexperienced people. So we're saying there's just a lot of knowledge that's already on the payroll that we don't necessarily utilize, and maybe generically write it off as, well, they just lack experience. Well, what specifically are they missing? And that communication tends to help a lot. This process map, the visual nature, the visual dialogue just helps everyone see the same thing. You'll also notice that it's easier for people to talk about the details of a work process than it is for them to talk about themselves. So people will share more information, specific information, when they get to talk about the process. That process map becomes a record of the issue. It's a way to document all the steps. It helps in terms of business continuity, so when new people come in or people leave, we maintain continuity in the organization. And then it captures this idea we just covered about experience, that even between first, second, and third shift, by detailing a work process or creating a process map, it just allows the first, second, and third shifts to communicate what we know, what we do differently, in a simple way. These work processes, these process maps can be captured in paper, on flip chart paper, on the wall. It can be captured on a dry erase board. It can be captured in Microsoft Excel. So there's some excellent drawing tools in Excel, and we have a process mapping template on our website. You can email us or just visit our website. There are excellent drawing tools within Excel, and we just provide that template for free, and you can experiment with that. This detailed process map on the screen was built within Excel, so all the connector arrows and flowchart shapes, all those are in there. We keep our process maps very, very basic, though. The idea of understanding work process clearly is because this observation that problems don't happen because things are too clear. They happen within your organization because things they weren't clear enough. So the idea of a process map is it provides clarity. You really want to utilize all the knowledge and experience that's already in your organization, and the people closest to work are just a great resource to improve those work processes, which fundamentally improves results. If you'd like to learn more about our methodology, we conduct public workshops on this topic, this whole concept of reliability, how process mapping and cause mapping relate, on preventing problems from occurring. Those public workshops are listed on our website, which is at thinkreliability.com. We also conduct client workshops at the client site, and we lead investigations and we facilitate issues on process breakdowns, on any issue or defect or failure that an organization's got. So if you get some recurring problem and you want some help getting started, don't hesitate to contact us. Our phone number for our office is on there too. Thanks very much for taking the time to listen to this presentation. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us. Thanks very much. Have a great day.